Welcome to this introductory video about the field of Applied Behavior Analysis, or ABA. This training is brought to you by Footprints Behavioral Interventions. Like many ABA organizations, Footprints is dedicated to promoting positive behavior change to enhance the quality of lives for the individuals we serve. ABA is often seen as a good fit for individuals who are exhibiting behaviors that cause harm to themselves or to others around them. ABA might also be a good fit for children who have restricted repetitive behaviors that interfere with accessing the learning environment, such as insisting on taking the same route to the park. ABA may also benefit individuals who are having difficulty engaging in social interactions with others or exhibiting behaviors that present as a barrier to accessing the social world in other meaningful ways. In general, ABA principles can be applied to any living organism who engages in actions and seeks to modify these actions in positive ways. Next, let's introduce the governing board for ABA providers. The BACB, or Behavior Analyst Certification Board. The BACB was founded in 1998 to ensure ABA providers meet professional and ethical standards. Like many professional organizations, our governing board serves to protect consumers by providing certifications in behavior analysis. The BACB offers 3 certifications: BCBA, or Board Certified Behavior Analyst, BCABA, or Board Certified Assistant Behavior Analyst, and Registered Behavior Technicians, or RBT. To apply for behavior technician positions, they must be at least 18 years old, have a high school diploma, and pass a background check. At Footprints, BTs must also have a valid driver's license, reliable transportation, and car insurance. This is because ABA therapy often takes place on the road, in our clients' homes, in the community. Once these initial requirements are confirmed, to become an RBT, you must complete a 40-hour training in behavior analysis. Then pass the RBT competency assessment, which involves the behavior analyst observing you performing certain tasks. And finally, you must pass the RBT exam. Becoming an RBT is often the first step for individuals seeking to enter the field of behavior analysis. Completing these training requirements provide you with the foundational understanding of ABA principles, techniques, and strategies, making the RBT role an ideal starting point for those interested in pursuing a career in ABA. Let's start by answering the question, what is ABA? ABA is an evidence-based and data-driven practice that is effective when working with autistic individuals or individuals with developmental disabilities. ABA is one way in which humans learn, and this is the approach we use to understand and change the behavior of the individuals we serve. Remember, ABA is one of many learning theories. According to ABA, humans learn to act based on how things are presented in their environment. For example, if it's sunny, you might act by putting on a hat and sunglasses. To better understand ABA and to decide if it's the right field for you, we will start by answering 5 key questions. Who learns from ABA? What is ABA used for? Where does ABA occur? How does ABA work? And finally, why ABA? Who learns from ABA? Anyone interested in understanding and changing behavior. ABA is an important learning theory to understanding a person's behavior when the aim or goal of therapy is to change that person's behavior. ABA can be applied when changing your own behavior or behavior of someone else. All active beings, from your family, friends, to your coworkers and pets, learn through the principles of ABA. However, ABA therapy is often the approach used to teach children and families in the autism community and other neurodivergent communities. ABA is the applied science of operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is a method of learning that uses rewards and punishments to modify behavior. At the basic level, a behavior that is perceived to be rewarding by a person is also likely to be repeated, for example, drinking a delicious smoothie. On the other hand, a behavior that is perceived to be aversive will most likely not occur again, such as drinking a disgusting smoothie. In both examples, the behavior is drinking smoothies, but how a person perceives or experiences the smoothie will increase or decrease the likelihood of repeating the behavior. Another common example of ABA is when you're exercising, you might be naturally reinforced to keep up with your new exercise routine because it feels good. Feeling good is the reinforcement, and therefore will increase your behavior of exercising more. Write down this word, reinforcement, as it is one of the key principles in ABA, and we will be referring to it frequently. Another common situation you might see reinforcements and operant conditioning in full effect is when training your pet. If you have pets, you might give them a treat after they perform different tricks, such as sit, down, and come. The treat is most likely reinforcing to your pet, and because it is reinforcing, your pet is going to be more likely to learn the trick, and then again, perform that trick in the future. There's that word again, reinforcement. An important characteristic of reinforcement is making sure that the treat is given immediately after the trick. This helps your pet know exactly what behavior you are teaching so that they will perform it again. If you ask your dog to sit and they sit for about 2 to 3 seconds and then they stand up before you provide the treat, they will think the trick is sitting, then standing. Without immediate reinforcement, they will not know which behavior, sitting or standing, is the preferred behavior. Another example of who uses ABA is in the business world. Have you heard of Organizational Behavior Management, or OBM? OBM is built on the same science and principles as ABA. Often, businesses are in the business of figuring out the most effective way to make money. This means business managers are motivated to change the behavior of their employees. One way to do this is by modifying the environment. Similar to the term reinforcement, modifying the environment is another key principle in ABA. ABA hinges on the idea that behavior is contingent on the environment. Contingent means that the behavior will change depending on certain circumstances. So if a business manager's goal is to improve the overall satisfaction of their employees in hopes of retaining their employees and increasing productivity, they might modify the environment by offering different incentives, such as free lunches, company-sponsored events, and bonuses. The last example of ABA we would like to discuss is learning in a structured format, such as a school. Think back to when you were going to school, or maybe you are still taking classes, or even think about how you are learning during this introductory video. What is motivating you to finish watching this video? Ask yourself, will you earn a reward upon completing this video? If you answered yes, then you are going to be more likely reinforced and finish this video. Maybe you are motivated to get a job in ABA and earn income. Maybe you are motivated to learn about ABA so that you have an opportunity to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. People engage in learning behaviors for a number of reasons. This is known as motivation. Motivation plays a crucial role in ABA. Motivation influences a person's willingness to learn. To change behavior, the person needs to be motivated, happy, engaged. One reason you might be motivated to attend school is for the pure enjoyment of learning something new. Another reason is earning a degree or a certification in your field. Some people are motivated by earning good grades, others by making money. Whatever the reason it is that motivates you, motivation influences the persistence and effort to engage in those learning behaviors. Learning behaviors such as reading a book, or listening to a lecture, or watching this video. What is ABA used for? ABA aims to teach socially significant skills and modify socially significant behaviors. These are skills and behaviors considered important by the autistic individual and their family. Socially significant skills and behaviors allow us to live effectively and independently at home, school, work, and in our community, and therefore providing us with an overall higher quality of life. These skills include self-help and adaptive. These are skills that a person learns over their lifetime so that they can meet their personal needs and achieve personal independence in areas such as grooming, eating, and dressing. These skills change as the demands in a person's life change. For example, a baby might be learning how to use a fork and spoon to feed themselves, whereas a young adult might be learning how to organize doctor appointments in their calendar or manage their medications. Socially significant behaviors also include social skills such as turn-taking, sharing, collaboration, and joint attention. Both verbal and nonverbal forms of communication are important. For example, it might be important to teach others how to point, use gestures, eye contact, facial expressions, and sounds to request their needs, ask for help, and even protest things that they might not need or things that might make them feel uncomfortable. Communication involves at least two communicative partners, a person sharing the information and a person listening or receiving that information. At the more complex level, communication can be used to share your experiences and build relationships with others and problem solve. And at the more basic level, communication can be used to request help so that you can gain access to something that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do on your own. Maybe it's important for you to ask a question to gain more information or answer a question to share your knowledge with others. You might also use ABA to teach play and leisure skills. Play is a child's occupation and a vital avenue for learning in a child's life. And this leads us to vocational or occupational skills. As children get older, their occupation might shift away from play and more towards school and eventually work. For this reason, it might be important to develop skills and behaviors to support these occupations. Maybe it's important to develop skills and behaviors so that a child can more effectively and independently attend school, such as following a schedule, sitting in a chair, raising their hand, or working on a science project with a group of their peers. And then, as an individual gets older, the occupation may shift from school to work. And it might be more important to teach someone how to develop a resume, answer questions during an interview, or once they get the job, how to follow protocols, keep their promises, and follow through with their responsibilities. ABA does not necessarily focus on teaching academics in school, nor does it teach the technical skills for a job. Rather, ABA focuses on the behaviors. For example, a behavior analyst thinks about how well someone collaborates with a group of their peers, colleagues, and coworkers, and then might develop a program that works on waiting for others to share their ideas, responding to others on topic, and even allocating responsibilities amongst a group. Another socially significant behavior you might see in ABA is self-regulation. This teaches others how to regulate their own behaviors. If the goal is independence, this might be an important skill to help develop. The skills you teach will depend on the person. Each person is different and has unique needs. What might be socially significant for one person might not be socially significant for another person. Any behavior targeted for change must benefit that person. There are a series of questions you want to ask when evaluating whether you are working on a socially significant behavior. If a family or person does not value a skill, then behavior analysts should not target it. Now that we've discussed what, let's discuss where. ABA is an adaptable teaching method that can be used across multiple settings, from clinics, centers, and offices. to an individual's home and community, as well as daycares, schools, and other organizations, such as an individual's place of work. The two most common settings you will encounter as an ABA provider will be the clinical environment and the natural environment. Often, the purpose of the clinical environment is to have children practice skills in a safe, controlled setting. The clinical environment might be a necessary setting when the child is new to ABA or the behavior team is using ABA to teach a new behavior or skill. If ABA therapy starts in the clinic, the ultimate goal is to transition to the child's more natural environment as quickly as possible. The natural environment is anywhere the child comes in contact with that is outside of the clinic walls. This will include their home, and it will include their community. Behavior analysts often work with clients in community settings such as parks, playgrounds, and grocery stores. They do this to practice skills and behaviors for community integration. These naturalistic settings allow behavior analysts to address behavior challenges and skill development within the individual's daily routine, while at the same time providing opportunities for family involvement. When thinking about where ABA occurs, we often want to be thinking about the other people in those environments too. This could be the teachers, if in a school, and the family when in the home. Behavior analysts want to involve the significant people in the child's life when delivering ABA. This is much easier to do when ABA therapy is taking place in the home and community. For example, if a child is hungry but doesn't know how to ask for a snack, we can teach all the people in the child's life ABA skills, such as functional communication training, to help the child learn how to request for a snack. Some examples of functional communication that we use in ABA are signing, word approximations, exchanging a picture, and pointing. Functional communication is often considered socially significant because it allows the child to independently and more effectively obtain their needs and wants. Communication is a skill you can teach to reduce tantrums, crying, and yelling behaviors. Consistency and repetition contribute to the success of a behavior change program. Therefore, if we want to teach skills and reduce behavior, then we want to encourage all the people in the child's life to use ABA. Now let's talk about how ABA works. Remember, ABA is a learning theory. As humans, we learn by actively engaging with our environment. These are called behaviors. Some people like to put themselves in the middle of the action, trying to understand their behavior through trial and error. However, an autistic person perceives and experiences the environment differently. Maybe it's brighter or louder, and for this reason, they might be less likely to put themselves in the middle of the action. Unintentionally, they might be missing some really valuable learning opportunities. For example, a young child might see a toy in a box, and when they realize they can't get the toy out of the box, they might go up to their parents, grab their parent's hand, bring them over to the box. And when the parent sees the toy in the box, they might say, "Oh, do you need some help?" And then proceed to help their child get the toy out. This successful social interaction increases the likelihood that the young child will continue to reach out to their parents. An autistic child is more likely to see the toy in a box, try to get it out themselves, and when they realize they can't get it out, they might move on to something else without ever engaging with their parents. And using ABA, we can help teach autistic individuals to engage with their environment and thus providing them with more learning opportunities. When our goal is to teach a skill and modify a behavior, we do this by modifying the environment. Behavior analysts break the environment up into three parts: the behavior, antecedents, and consequences. This is known as the three-term contingency, or ABC. The antecedent describes what is happening in the environment right before the behavior. The antecedent is sometimes referred to as the trigger, and it can include setting events that impact motivation, such as being tired, hungry, and sick. The consequence is what happened right after the behavior. The consequence can be negative or positive. Behavior analysts teach skills and modify behavior through the process of observing and manipulating antecedents and consequences. When the child sees the toy in the box, the antecedent is seeing that toy. The behavior is then teaching the child to ask for help, and the consequence is providing help and allowing that child to access the toy. And finally, let's answer the why question. The primary objectives of ABA are to teach positive skills and reduce negative behaviors. As we have discussed so far, this can be done with any person in any environment and by modifying antecedents and consequences. ABA might not be suitable for all autistic individuals. However, it is the most frequently used approach to teaching individuals on the autism spectrum. And there are many reasons for this. ABA has a long history of effectiveness across different groups of people. Decades of research have been dedicated to finding the most effective way to support the autistic community. Overall, studies have found that children learn best when they are engaged as active participants in developmentally appropriate learning environments that are meaningful to the child. ABA is the scientific, data-driven approach used to ensure the skills that we teach and the behaviors we hope to reduce remain developmentally appropriate and socially significant for that individual. Ultimately, the ABA approach serves to enhance a person's quality of life and help an individual live as independently as possible. Research continues to show ABA as an effective approach, especially when meeting these two objectives. First, in the reduction of negative behaviors, which are perceived to be negatively interfering with a person's life. And second, in the teaching of positive skills, which can be used to functionally replace a negative behavior and are perceived as meaningful to the person's life. However, when delivering ABA, we must ensure we are practicing ethically and professionally and safely. This means ABA must be delivered with the individual receiving care at the center. This is known as person-centered care. We do this by maintaining the person's dignity, delivering care in a respectful manner, learning about the person's interests, preferences, and motivations for learning. ABA must also focus on the individual's strengths. This means we are teaching skills. And these skills must be useful and meaningful to the person, and only reduce behaviors that are perceived as barriers to improving the person's quality of life. Such behaviors usually cause physical, emotional, and social harm, including self-injury, running into the street, or aggression towards others. And finally, ABA must emphasize naturalistic skill building during a child's daily routine and using natural reinforcement. This means less table time. Children need time to be children, and a child's occupation is play. ABA should look and feel like play. You will be sitting on the floor, sometimes pretending to be a dog, other times singing songs about ducks. Or you will be running around the room, crouching under desks, during a game of hide and seek. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about ABA. We hope to see you in the field.